I wanted to make this video to help kind of realign myself um, in a way. Um, I realized today, um, I was asking myself, what is it? What is it really? Is the cause of me being suicidal for most of my life? What is it? And it's the father issues, both fathers, uh, my earth father and God the Father, both of them. You know what I mean? I was thinking about this. I'm like, I wasn't suicidal because of anything I did, you know, and that's what I figured out today. I'm just like, it was because of what people did to me while God watched. Seriously, that's what it was about. That's when I started being suicidal because the actions of others against me, you know, while God watched, basically, is how I saw it. And that's another thing I realized um, is I held I held God just as guilty. I did for standing by and not doing anything. I held him just as guilty, and he knows that. I held him as just as guilty. What's the difference? Just think about it. You're getting abused. Some guy's watching it in the corner. Some person is watching it in the corner, does nothing to stop it. That's God to me. That person standing in the corner doing nothing. That's what I realized. It's true. So I felt he was just as guilty, you know. And so over all these years, um, that's how I felt. And that's so I just kind of ignored God. I'm like, what do you? Who cares about you? You know, you just watched. You're just a watcher. A watcher of abuse. Yeah, so, but I feel like I need to talk about this. You know, because I think it's critical that I get this on the table because it's the crux of why I'm suicidal, even over my physical injuries. This is the reason. It's God didn't defend me while I was being abused. You know, both fathers. You know, I found to be guilty. So that's what I realized today. I'm like, what is it really? You know, because because all this going to church stuff has brought this up 100%. Like my issues with God right to the forefront. I'm not going to church for a long time. I don't think about God at all. I'm just uh, pressing forward basically, like my best friend told me to. And that's another thing I thought about. I've been going forward for my best friend, not for God, not for Jesus. My best friend told me to keep going. That's what I've been doing this for. Nobody else, for the most part. And that's another thing I realized today. I'm like, I wasn't even going forward for myself. It was because I respected my best friend, you know, more than anybody, more than God, more than my family, more than anybody on the planet. I respected my best friend enough to keep pushing forward when I didn't think there was any hope for me. That's how much I respected him. You know what I mean? So, because God knew if God told me to stay alive, I'd be like, fuck you. you know, He knows I would have been like that. But since it was my best friend that told me to stay alive, totally different. you know. So, but anyways, I found some pictures of me when I was young, before I was strangled, and and I'm like, I don't even know who that kid is anymore. I don't even know who that is. That whole soul of me before the age of 12, so bright, so happy. I don't even know who that is anymore. That's what the strangulation did to me. Totally gone. That kid, the happy kid. You know, never be the same again. But I don't know. Here's I don't know. Those might be hard to see. The focusing on it. Um, Basically, I found those pictures. Probably no accident. I found those. Just when I was looking for my best friend's photo, I found these old pictures of me. No accident, probably. Before the age of 12. Uh, Basically, for all those photos is when I'm before the age of 12, before I got strangled, basically. Probably God wanted me to see that, you know, because I was wondering what the hell happened to me. I was never suicidal before the age of 12. Never, you know. And then after the age of 12, I'm suicidal, you know, never ending suicidal. Like, what the hell? And that's what I realized. Like, what the hell happened? You know? And I realized it's the father thing. It's the father thing. It is. It's God the Father and my earth father. The way I was treated by my earth father on the ground, and God watching basically from a corner, basically doing nothing. Both fathers. You know what I'm saying? So I have two things going against me. You know what I'm saying? Can't turn to God. You know what I'm saying? And then I, my father scares the shit out of me on the ground, basically. If you've seen the narcissist up close quarters, you know what I'm talking about. That's what my father, Earth Father, is a narcissist, psychopath. Scary shit. 100% scary. No bullshit. But anyways, enough about that. um, but yeah, I realized I got to get over this father issue, mainly with the God the Father issue, because I've been trying my best to see a difference between the two. I'm serious. I've been trying to see a difference. It's been hard for me to see a difference between both fathers because I both see them as guilty as fuck. you know, for what happened to me. I see them both as guilty. One for doing the shit to me, and then one for watching the shit happen to me. Because now I know, I really, really know, especially now, that God was watching all of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive right now. So God really was watching it like I thought he was. He watched everything. 100%. Everything that happened to me growing up, God watched it all. God the Father. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive. 100%. I wouldn't be alive right now. And that's how I know. That's how I double confirm it. I thought he watched it growing up, like, and did nothing. And now that I'm alive, right now, I know double sure that God watched it all. So it's making me mad. That's what I've been dealing with. So that's what I've been struggling with. Is that anger of the confirmation of God really was watching it. Everything that happened to me, growing up, everything. And that's the only way I'm alive. So, um, so I gotta figure out how to work through these God issues. I know I do. The God the Father issues. I gotta figure out a way to work through them. I've been asking for help. I'm like, how do I work through this God Father issue? Because it's sinking me. It is. Just like, I don't know. How do I not see you as someone that betrayed me? Basically, you know what I'm saying? How? You know, I know I got to figure it out. You know, I know I got to figure it out. But I thought about this to try to motivate me to keep going, to see God and Satan on the same team against me, and me just pushing forward despite that. Like, fuck both of you, you know, because I've done that before. And I have seen God and Satan both against me at the same time. And I'm still going forward saying, fuck both of you. God knows I've done that before. So I've been thinking of like, you know, how do I push through this and keep going, you know? But I don't want to do that, you know, because I don't think, uh, I don't, I don't think God and Satan are teamed up right now against me. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure God and Satan are not teamed up against me. You know what I'm saying? Not like in the Job days, you know. Right now, it doesn't seem like that. You know how he told Satan, God told Satan to attack Job? I don't feel like that's happening right now. I feel like there's a separation. That God's not commanding Satan to attack me, basically. I feel like there's a difference. So I'm just like, Because I do think, based on what I've experienced with Jesus, especially, he's pretty good. He's pretty, he's pretty damn trustworthy. From what I've experienced over the last 10 years, he's pretty legit good, you know. And I got reminded again tonight by a Christian that he cannot lie, and that's true. He hasn't lied to me. God hasn't lied to me. When he's one thing I knew that was coming from God, it was truth. He didn't lie, so that was true. So I remembered that again tonight. I'm like, yeah, it's true. He didn't lie. The whole world may lie, but God didn't lie. So, like, but a part of me wants to, and I gotta fight against this as well. A part of me just wants to like lose on purpose to like give God the middle finger, you know. But I'm fighting against that, you know. I am, you know. I'm like, there's got to be a different way, you know, because I don't really want to lose on purpose, you know. I really don't, you know. I thought about that. I'm like, I've come a long way. I don't really want to lose them on purpose, you know. I told my best friend I'd stay alive, and that's what I'm trying to do, you know. And I don't want to fuck that up, but just because I have God issues, you know, just because I'm pissed off at God, you know, throw all my effort away just because I'm pissed at God, you know. So I gotta figure out how to work through this God the Father issues. And I still feel like I have to work through the Earth Father stuff. Even though I've been away from a distance, you know, the Earth Father stuff still affects me. That's what I realized, the Father stuff. Just in general, the Father stuff. All around, the Father stuff is my biggest hurdle. Always has been. Always has been. It's my biggest hurdle is the Father stuff. The Mother stuff, a little bit, but not as bad as the Father stuff. No way, you know. And the way way I know that, and God knows this too, I'm more comfortable around women. Always have been, you know. So I definitely have issues with the father stuff, the male figure, than women, 100%. And God knows that, and that's why he's always had women help me. You know what I mean? Always, for the most part. Um, recently it's been men a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's been women that God surrounded me by. Like every support group, I'm surrounded by women. I'm like the only man there. Like every support group, it seems like every healing thing, I'm the only man surrounded by women every time. No accident. So, anyways, so I think that's intentional because God knows I have a fear of men. Still kind of do, but because I've seen what they can do. I've seen them up close, behind closed walls. I've seen what they can do. Men. So, uh, anyways, I know the damage they can do, not just physically, but psychologically over a long period of time, emotionally, spiritually. I know the damage a man can do to somebody, especially a kid. So. But anyways, enough about that. But I'm like, I gotta work through these father issues somehow, because I've got them, like I've got father issues, you know, because I left my earth father like feeling like I resolved nothing, because he wouldn't account for anything he's done, nothing, because he's a narcissist. He wouldn't admit to doing anything bad to me, even though God the Father knows he has. You know what I'm saying? So I had to walk away from that relationship, just being like my hands in the air, like fuck it, walking away from my earth father with no resolution. And God knows I just had to walk away, just say fuck it. So now I'm dealing with the God the Father, Heavenly Father now. My other father issue is up to the forefront. The other one I feel betrayed by. I'm trying to come back to. So I know I never thought I'd be in a position like this. Let me just say that out point blank. I'm like, so part of me, like I thought I'd be dead. I wouldn't have to deal with this shit. I wouldn't have to face this bullshit because, God was guilty. He watched my abuse, so I don't have to deal with this shit. That's what I thought. So now this shit's in my forefront. Now that I'm still alive, I didn't think I would have to deal with this shit. Uh, so. But like I do think, I do think God the Father wants the best for me. I do think, and in the end, He does. I think so. uh, Otherwise, He wouldn't have sent Jesus to get me. He wouldn't have. So that's how I see it. Just like, because He knew that I'd be coming back to Him, kicking and screaming. Coming back to the Father, God the Father, kicking and screaming. He knew I would be. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck, I ain't going to Him. You know. He watched what happened to me. I don't have to go to Him. Being that bratty kid. I don't have to go to my father. I don't have to go to my real father. That's what I realized I've been. What I have been. So part of me's like, I'd rather just give up than face God. I'd rather just give up. That's what's happened. That's been what's been happening. I'm like, I'd rather just give up than face God. You know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm being serious. I'm just like shit. But anyways. So I have to work through these father issues. I know that with God Himself, I have to work through this shit somehow. So I'm just like, help me work through this shit. You know, I thought I'd never have to work through this shit ever. You know, it's like part of me's like, I don't have to work through this shit. You know, you betrayed me. Why do I have to work through this? You know, you say sorry to me. You say sorry to me. You know, which I feel like He has. So I'm just like, so I'm like, shit. So I don't know. Just looking at my pictures again, you know. Yeah. I really was a good kid, full of promise. I really was, you know. I really had, you know, a lot of high hopes back then, you know. It's crazy how traumatic things can change all that. You know what I mean? It can. Traumatic events can change everything, you know. And that's what I realized just now. Just like, damn. Just kind of how far in left field I went because of traumatic things, like just saying, fuck this world, fuck God, you know, fuck everybody, you know, basically, you know, fuck religion. That one might have been okay, fuck religion. Now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, fuck religion for the most part, you know. But anyways, but despite the religion being bogus, seems like the God the Father part, like God, was actually legit. the really what is a God. You know, despite any religion being false, despite any religion being false, there is a God that knows who I am. You know what I'm saying? He does. He knows exactly who he's dealing with, 100%. And like, I've been watching a movie called Father Stew because I felt like I was inspired to buy it today because I was curious about this movie. I haven't watched it all the way through, but I felt like I had to make a video in the middle of it because he has issues with God. I'm like, you, goddamn. You know, he sounds just like me, you know. Punches a statue of Jesus. God knows I was going to, like chop off a statue of Jesus' head. God knows I was planning on doing that. I was so mad that I was going to do that. You know, so when I saw that, you know, in the movie that he punched Jesus' statue, I'm like, holy shit. Because he knew I stood in front of a Jesus statue for a while. Like, thinking how I could get away with, you know, chopping off his head. You know, just to show him how I felt. You know, I'm telling you, I was mad. You know, Jesus the Father, I was mad at all of it. You know, I was. I don't mince words about that. So, so that was an interesting part of the movie. You know, just his issues with God and how he feels God kind of fucked him over. You know, took someone he loved from him. You know. I don't know. But anyways, I haven't finished the movie yet, so it should be interesting. But it said on the back that he like got in a motor vehicle accident, and so, I did as well, and it kind of ruined me even more. Motor vehicle accidents. So that's another reason why I got this movie, because eventually he turns good towards God. Eventually he does. So I'm kind of curious. You know, those stories that, you know, they have issues with God and then they kind of turn good for God. I'm always curious about that because I feel like I'm kind of going that way a little bit. trying to. So I'm always curious about that. His whole life he has issues with God. Kind of like me. Then eventually he goes uh, towards God. So I'm kind of curious about how this movie plays out. But anyways, but that's what I was asking myself. I'm like, it's more than just my physical ailments that has me have issues with God. It is, you know, or it's more than my physical stuff that makes me suicidal. It is. It's the God thing. It's the Father thing that makes me suicidal. And I think God knows that. You know, when I really think about it, it's the most thing it's the main thing that makes me suicidal is God the Father. Watching everything that happened to me, 100%. Just like did nothing. From a lot of it. You know, you know. That's what I thought about. I'm like, that's what this is about. It is. So, anyways. So that's what I realized is like I gotta work through this father issue. Like the God the Father issue. And see the difference between the Earth Father and then God the Father. There is a difference. you know. Instead of seeing them as the same type of individual. Pretty much. So that's pretty much my challenge. You know. Um, for sure. But anyways. I think that's all I'll say for this video. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, that's the big thing. Is just the father thing. And it's amazing how like facing this God the Father thing has made me think about my Earth Father at the same time, and it's like messing with my head, at the same time. Like, damn. Because a part of me kind of misses my Earth Father, and I know that's crazy. I know that's crazy. I shouldn't, but I do. So I'm like, damn. But like, why would I miss someone like that? I'm like, it's not healthy that I miss him right now. So, gotta keep pressing forward despite that. So, but anyways, and another thing triggered me as well. You know, it's not just the God thing. It's I realize it's kind of like the woman that I want thing, but she wants somebody else thing coming back to the surface, like, because I've kind of been faced with that a little bit, and I realize that someone I actually care about of the opposite sex that I want, I didn't think this would ever happen to me again, in life. I didn't. And God knows that now I'm faced with it. I care about somebody of the opposite sex. Like, I care about them. I'm like, shit, now I'm faced with this. Because anybody that I've cared about and wanted has always picked somebody else. You know what I'm saying? If I don't want them, they usually want me. If I don't want them, that's what I've learned. Um, so that's another thing I have to work through. It is, and that's another thing that's kind of been triggering me. It's just like, shit. So I have to work through the father thing, and then the woman that doesn't want me thing at the same time. The female that doesn't want me, but I want her. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, the God thing. I'm like, why am I facing this? Why am I dealing with this shit? And part of me is like, I shouldn't even be alive right now to face this, but I am. So I'm facing this. So that's what part of me is like. If I wasn't even alive, I wouldn't have to face this. You know. So it's the fact that I'm still alive that it's that it's my fault. You know. But anyways, I think I've said enough for this video. Um, yeah, that's good enough for this video. I think I've said enough. So basically, I have to work through my father issues. 100%. This is not going to be easy. You know, and I brought it up in counseling. I'm like, I told my counselor in the past, like, I have God issues, I have Jesus issues. You know, but no matter what we did, it seemed like they didn't get resolved. I still have God issues and Jesus issues. Because, God damn it, they watched and didn't do anything through most of my life. So they betrayed me. You know, they should know better. God should know better than just to stand by and watch that shit. He should know better. You know, that's what I say. Like, he should have known better. Jesus should have known better. God the Father should have known better. I was the kid. What the hell? You know, that's how I feel. I'm like, what the hell? You know, it's like, you know, the kid's taking accountability for everybody. That's what I felt like. I'm taking accountability for all the adults involved in the abuse. And I'm taking accountability for Jesus for watching the abuse and doing nothing. I'm taking accountability for that. Taking accountability for God the Father watching the abuse, not taking accountability. No one takes accountability. So it's on my shoulders as a kid, taking accountability for everybody involved. So I got to work through that shit, you know. But I thought I'd be long gone before I would even have to work through any of this, you know. For sure. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say, I guess, for this video. I think I've said enough, but it's almost time for me to go to bed. But anyways, that's all I want to say for this video.